the sense of just ride that momentum, ride the confidence of every single victory so far being a W for them.
All right, the high waves for the NiP side. G2 looking for a consolation prize to climb maybe one more space in this group stage and maintain a decent number of Pro Tour points. It's all about undefeated status for the Swedish core, though. Let's jump into it. It's our first map. It's Vertigo. It's G2 versus NiP.
Oh, this is where things get very intriguing. Out here on Vertigo, we've seen some very good T sides and CT sides by this NiP side. They've really brought the fight in their first game, their debut performance against Fnatic on Vertigo, and we saw it again against Mouse. They're looking to try and replicate there.
Yeah, and they're mostly looking towards this this first map. Of course, their own pick as being the main sort of idealism for them. Of course, them going into this series at a bit of a high note, just gain this own map pick. We talked a little bit about how some map picks haven't necessarily been won all that often so far during the course of the week. But this will be a strong little start for the NiP side, in my opinion. I look towards this as being, again, a standard veto, standard style of picks, and standard style of matchup from both sides. So, quick predictions in terms of scorelines. Dwayne, where are we looking at this?
I'm thinking 2-1 NiP.
2-1 NiP? I can't disagree with you right there. Let's jump into it. Pistol round now with G2 kicking things off, at least on the CT half, looking to lock down the defensive and hold a confident start here as we're finally ready to begin the ultimate exhibition match here in the ESL Pro League.
Now, this is how it's going to start off. T-side pistol underway with the footsteps going up towards that ramp control. A lot of pace trying to get initiated, but the CTs are already looking for some map presence to be taken away from mid and start off onto res.
Initial contact, getting the opening kill for the G2 side, and further presence pressing forward, trying to establish the map control and the mid control, and m0NESY also pushing downstairs via the B site. Now in a connector, could find the bomb carrier here. It all comes up to timing. He's just having a read onto Fuzi. He doesn't extend all the way to try and grab the kill and actually loses his life for it. It's a 4v4, but he gains info.
A very important kill to be answered back, and now you can just see the CT stacking up the A side. Even with that in mind, though, look at some of the entries that are coming through for the NiP squad. Up by one, now getting the smoke down to try and get onto the side.
Oh, a secondary kill, a third one, in fact, for the likes of Jax. Can't quite make it a Quadra. Hunter's there to try and back him up and regain a man advantage for G2 now. Bomb dropped in the open, and the P250 of Hampus rocking Raid Boss in this round. Not going to rock the clutch play. Gets at least Alexi B, but no more than this one, it seems.
Just trying to draw the fights, try and initiate those 1v1s. Jax has still got a smoke to play with. They're actually giving them the respect of being able to pick up that bomb and to try and get it down.
And also try for a rotation back towards that B player. The concern is going to be the information given up towards the G2 side. Got a little bit of time to work with, though. He could slow walk his way up towards the stairs at least, but you can see Hunter starting to get the inkling now. He knows that this is a possibility, and he's going to account for it.
Now, you'd have to imagine for Hampus, if there's any way to win this round, taking the fight and being able to beat out Hunter has to be the start.
And his moves in, knife pulled out, P250 in against him, going to cross out towards default, just try and get that bomb plant in, could be denied, and indeed it is. It's a pistol win for the likes of G2 as they lose many of their players, but ultimately take the round.
It just shows the information gathering, the aggressive play from Hunter and from Jax in towards a mid portion, m0NESY going aggressive down from the B stairs, and really just trying to put pressure on from the early start here on the pistol round. Try and get into the minds of NiP, try and have a lot of aggressive approaches, and while the trading was back and forth, they gave the respect in that 2v1 by not overpeaking and allowing themselves to pick up the pistol.
Beautiful shooting from Jax in general to make his 3K happen. Perfect heads at the perfect time. Perfect start for the likes of G2. NiP not opting to force the issue, of course, no bomb plant bonus, although they got close towards it. Upgrade pistols are in play, but lack of Kevlar means the aim punch and the general damage is going to come in effectively for G2. Already a kill's been found, and Fuzi's on single digits.
Now, only 2 maps played in the last 3 months on Vertigo for G2, but it is a 100% win rate, so something to keep in mind. 2 wins and 0 losses. Can they make it 3-0? m0NESY with this scout. And just searching for some information. These Glocks, can't imagine are going to get too much out of it.
Cool. As a tag for a bit of damage, 59 points of HP for him. Continuing the face for a little bit more. Nico's credited with the next kill. Does get overwhelmed by the numbers game, so not as easy for G2, but they've maintained a 4 versus 3 scenario. There's a FAMAS to work with now for NiP, but the USP actually lines up too for m0NESY, making it a triple. And on for the Quadra against Hampus. That's done around at least one more good frag against the name of the G2 side. Have that bomb again, trying to commit to the side, but the scout headshot's not coming in. He's being flanked anyway. There's a 2-0 now for the G2 side. NiP look to the guns.
And not a lot of farm money coming into that round for G2. For NiP standpoint, knowing there weren't many upgrades, the fact that they've been able to get a couple of kills shows that there was at least some damage coming through into the eco. But now the precedent is what's going to happen into the rifle round. Going into round 3, the AK's coming through, lot of util to follow, and Alexi keeping hold on that MP7, trying to use this as a bonus round.
Might as well do so here. Still 2 for Masters out for the CT side in general. G2 have a little bit in terms of the lacking firepower. He might as well get his value out of these weapons rather than just try and full commit towards the economy game, because the money's still going to be low in spite of not without being the harsh investment involved. Will be happens that kicks things off against Jax. So one of those M4s already taken out of play.
Just the slow walk lurk up to the B stairs, being able to catch out that first player. Modesty putting a re-smoke down towards the bottom of ramp, really trying to take the fight head on. And for NiP, they're going to put a HE forward back. That's doing some further chip damage onto Nico.
46 points of health for him now, NiP in a very good position overall. Some damage here and there, and following up with a second good kill. Nico's head taken off his shoulders. It's a 5-on-3 advantage. No trades found by G2 thus far.
This is going to have to be risk-based Counter-Strike now for G2. Going for some level of a gamble stack or an info play. 3v5, they don't really know too much of what's going on, and it could just be some further aggression. Try and get Modesty in for a pick.
Second by an incendiary force forward against Fuzi, who has him covered. Puts bullets down range, but unable to get the definitive kill for it. Just chip damage away on that one individual player. Meanwhile, Plopsky starts working out towards the mid position. Seeing nothing of the G2 side right now. Modesty does get a trade back, and Hunter starts looking into mid as a bit more of a directed defensive. But the T's seem like they want to commit towards the A play.
Yeah, Hunter's got a molly that he can put down towards that default position, trying to deny the bomb eventually when it goes down to the bomb site. And look at this gamble stack. It's coming in towards A.
Smokes up, flashes over, sprays through for Modesty, trying to catch off some T-side elements. They've also got some backup utility back in the back lines. 13 seconds, and finally a blind kill comes in, so we do find ourselves at even once again. Nades back, Echo Tag staying alive. Hunter peeks forward, though, gets the kill against the man, and that should be enough to win the round. Modesty didn't need to get the 4K, but he got it anyway. It's 3-0 start for G2.
Yeah, what a recovery. When you think of that in the mind of G2, you're in a 3v5, and there's a lack of information. The way that Modesty starts just eerily walking forward from that Ivy angle, looking down the scaffolding, and as soon as they gather that information that there's ramp control, okay, 30, 40 odd seconds left on the clock, let's just gamble stack, let's bring all of our entities over to the A side, and the way they just continue to put pressure on, there was no way that bomb was going to go down.
NiP had such a great start on that round, so to concede all that much to what was ostensibly a bonus for G2, the tactical pause will come in for the T-side line. A moment's respite to think about their moves from here. Most certainly will be a move into the half-bite for round 4. Cash is not there for the T-side line, so they'll just tank it. A little bit of Kevlar on a couple of players, so Rez and Hampus will be a bit protected. But other than that, on paper, this should be G2 with their 4th round. There's no bonus rifles now, just M4s and AK and AWP as well.
NiP just trying to get as much out of this eco as possible. Try and drop a couple of players like they've done previously. See if they can get the AK out of the hands. If they can drop that AWP too, that could be definitely a way into getting a hold of the economy game. And Modesty just searching for that opening man advantage.
That's what these early rounds are really about here, the economy game. It's Hunter with assistance from Nico. Taking down Fuzi with the HE stack. Jax does get caught off guard towards the outer scaffolding. Hampus work into the B site with a bit of assistance from his teammates. Of course, the boost came in from one of them. Outside of that initial phase, it's very quiet from NiP.
I like this angle from Hampus. Just work with as soon as that smoke goes down, trying to take an immediate duel. And it's going to be onto Jack, surely.
One thing you spotted him either, keeping himself as held away as possible. Jack's back at quad. Waiting for his moment to strike. Meanwhile, Nico working in from the ramp control over towards A. Drops that bomb. Tag caught next. Plopsky can get a responsive. Hampus is now known. He will be removed from play by Alexi B. And the G2 side will fall back to passive positions as Rez tries to continue pressing forward. The AWP of Mercy can't quite land that first shot. Very tight and hit on the second. Rez gets credited with a couple of kills on the Deagle and maybe even a bomb plant if they can grab the bomb itself. 40 seconds to play with and Alexi B to deal with, but they have done damage here on NiP.
This M4 getting picked up, really looking to see if he can engage another fight, try and draw it onto Alexi, who gets boosted up towards that top of orange position, gets himself up to the 4th round. And for G2's standpoint, it all started with that lockout defense towards the B side, but what happened there on A? Hunter struggling, so the same for Modesty. NiP did not upgrade massively on that eco round, Jay. They didn't get a bomb plant, but 3 kills, that's pretty good.
literally what you're talking about in the pre-round there is the prospect of them just keeping control of the economy, dropping 3 players, keeping the expense up. You can see what that does to the money state here for G2. Lack of overall cash. You can see those shots again from Rez's perspective. Wonderful stuff for the NiP camp. Lexi just pinking in towards mid control again, trying to establish the early defaults on the G2 side. It's NiKo that draws first blood though.
Now, there is a quick trade immediately with that AWP, but S-Attack does not know about this bait and switch setup. 2 players over, Jax has been seen, they don't know about the teammate.
And Hunter will find a responsive. Jax barely spotted out by the likes of S-Attack. And again, they can't hold on to the man advantage and they can't get access into the B site. So the default continues playing out with this 2-man boost in mid. The 3-on-3 situation in G2 will not bite on the aggression.
Now, Lexi just trying to keep eyes on to mid in case there's an aggressive mid-walk or a lurk, a setup coming through for the NiP squad. We've seen in the mid-round they like to slow it down, try and bait a mistake, allow an over-aggressive play to come through. And even for NiKo, look how aggressive this is.
Flashing from Fuzi to lean forward, unawares of where NiKo is. Trying to look up towards 51 and the Harp's position. See anything as of right now, though, with the 2 teammates walking out towards mid, though, indicating there's going to be a bit more on the table. That distraction keeping them away from mid, leaving Hunter exposed on one side of the site. Incendiary coming down, that's going to lead to his demise, unless LXTV gets the kills, if he doesn't do so. But causing the info to Hunter, who makes it a double instead, and turns the whole situation around for G2. Fuzi in the 1v2, has the bomb on his back, and is pressing up through the stairs, but NiKo is on the flank, and he'll hold down the round.
What an excellent timing coming through from Alexi. Yeah, he's not able to find a pick when he comes on that rotation away from the A site, looking out for mid. But for Hunter, think about what he's just done. He's put an incendiary up towards the B stairs, and then Alexi's called out that there's 2 players towards the scaffolding to get that mid to be in. Well, he can just focus all of his attention forward, deal with those 2 players, and then focus back over to the stairs, because NiKo's already got the backstab, because he's aggressed down from ramp.
The thing, though, like a single play away from holding down the reset against G2 as well. NiP just getting so close, but not quite touching a tangible win so far here in this matchup. 5-0 for G2, and the economy is still broken for the T side line. Hero AK set up here for round 6, and Hampus is pressing so far aggressive without a lot of T side support.
Man, money aside, this is a phenomenal start for G2. Really putting the pressure on early, giving themselves 5-0. What they're looking for now is to strengthen an economy, keep more players alive, especially up against this hero rifle round.
Noise being made over towards Ramp's going to draw attention back. A flash in towards mid will allow Hunter to start peeking. Alexi B continues to hold contact on the back of the B site. Spots 1 player, but no more than that. NiP also back off.
Just trying to set this AK up, get some of the pistol players to be the bait, to draw some of the attention forward to allow that trade to come back in. And even for m0NESY, it'd have to imagine going to have some dry faces towards ramp.
Boost up, trying to look for contact, shot flick not quite connecting. Again, difficult shots being taken by m0NESY so far on this A-side defense. Ball back to a much more standard position, trying to look on towards side alley. It's NiKo held out of the sandbags. No Molotovs in play for NiP that can drive him away. They've got to hard check this angle. Not even a nade that can do the damage. A flash and there's 2 smokes available for the execution here. And now NiKo swings, sees 1 and 2 and 3. Barely escapes with Hampus' life. Plopsky there with a decent trade. And now m0NESY has all he needs to hold down the A site with backup here and all.
Yeah, NiP are now going to start running into mass numbers over around the A site. They do deal with Hunter. This could allow the bomb to go down.
All right, cash flow being gained by NiP at least. Low HP for Plopsky, though. It'd be nice if he can hand that AK off to Rez, or if they can go back and grab the G2 weapon that was dropped by NiKo. That's what they're going to try and aim for, but it will be protected by the CTs out to the back of the site. Still, the blind spray from Plopsky comes in decent. It's Deagles for Rez. Did well in previous rounds, but not in this one. m0NESY locks it out with the AK kill, and it will be a defuse for Jackson. A 6th round for G2. Bit of a common trend so far in this matchup, though. NiP not quite getting the rounds, but getting closer and closer, dishing out the damage, keeping the economy low. It just takes one of these good rounds to come in from the Swedes before they can really start to get some start in this matchup.
I don't think I've seen a sweatiest 6-0 like the one I'm witnessing right now. This is them really having to work for it. And it's a fantastic position for NiKo to be in. Anytime you're on an anti-eco, you're up against a light buy, playing out towards the sandbags, you know they're not going to have the mollies or the HEs to deal with you. He finds 3 picks from that position, and still the A-side defense crumbles in a way that more players are falling. The economy in the reserve is not there at all, and NiP know this in the back of their minds.
G2 don't need to make any major changes, just keep playing out this match in the way that they've been doing so far. They're getting the early start, the damage already done to Hampus. 41 points of health for the man. Engagement from Rez behind the smokes, trying to press up towards that ramp control. But still nothing gained. NiP forced to continue the passiveness.
Well, G2 know that NiP aren't putting heavy mid-presence early round at all, so look at the setup. They're bringing 4 over towards the A side, no one out in mid, and just Alexi to be the sole anchored over at B.
Still quiet. Still careful. Tag. Make his players out towards the stairs position. Jax, NiKo having their crossfire set to play anti-flash against NiP. Not a lot of rapid control being taken. Instead, G2 are going to take it back with Jax. A kill on Hampus. Starting off the kill counts in this round, and again, NiP just fall away.
You could just feel, with that pick coming through, you're driving the T side to elsewhere on the map to regain some map presence over to mid and potentially over to B. Alexi's waiting for that walk forward from Tag.
Spotted out by Tag. Smoke down to the left to buy himself a bit of cover. We'll try and see if we can funnel them towards the outside of the site. Evade most of the nade damage and the incendiary coming down. A second HE lands for 34 points of health, though. Jax continues watching, continues peeking in. 20 seconds, and NiP have got to make action now. Smokes will come down. Jax will get forced back behind, and the Molotov trying to drive an invisible CT away as Hunter gets away with the kill onto Tag. Alexi's still back over a quad, finally accounted for by Fuzi. They almost didn't do so, and Plopsky gets a trade back to a 3 versus 3. The bomb's got to commit and get planted. Hunter trying to see if he can find it in the midst of the smoke, but can't quite manage to do so. And all that distraction pushes Plopsky in an aggressive position, but NiKo on the backstab deals with Rez. Fuzi with a responsive. Plopsky responded by Hunter to a 1 versus 1, but 5 HP for the man to try and catch the AWP off his AWP v AWP battles here. But where does he go with this? Fuzi playing careful. AK now back in his hands. And hearing the footsteps of Hunter making noise on the site. Shots ringing out. Can't quite find the man. Defuse kit to hold the whole defuse. To hold the whole defuse. It seems like Fuzi forced out, aggressing. And finally taking his man down. Making it a triple kill. And finally winning the first round for NiP.
Yeah, what a grand round coming through for someone like Fuzi, the youngest guy here on the NiP side, really stepping up. Pure fundamentals with the trading game. You see the way that the time is low, they've been shut out of that ramp control, they're down by a mad disadvantage, and while they know that Alexi's there at quad, they struggle to deal with him. The time's incredibly low, they force a lot of those fights. NiKo on that backstab, wraparound play into the B stairs, only manages 1 before eventually falling, and even for Hunter, it felt like he wanted to stick that whole 5 seconds until he heard that sound cue of just how close the last individual of Fuzi was. Has to get off it, try and hit the quick scope, doesn't happen at all, and now for NiP, they know to themselves, we've broken the economy and really hit home hard.
And they've broken the win streak of G2 thus far, 6 in a row to start off this matchup. All that damage compounding itself for the Ninjas, meaning that there's only 2 M4s to work with here for the G2 side. 3 Deagles outside of that. And they've not been the ones that are having the highlight Deagle plays so far on Vertigo. Set in with the rifles, Fuzi's AWP. Try and take point on the A default for NiP. Ramp control, Hampus leaning up very fast into the tarps position. Could find NiKo and Co. With the smoke being set already towards the alley entrance. Around the corner, NiKo gets caught. Monacy also being seen. Damage being done to Hampus though. He's got to be the man to rotate away. Leave it to his teammates to do the rest.
Something that I love watching, especially with Hampus, is just the space that he's able to find. Some of those cracks he is able to exploit on that T side, and we just hadn't seen that play before. A solo, slow walk up to the top of tops. As soon as he hears that util placement, he just knows what's going on to peek further forward, to do damage onto NiKo, to assist with a teammate to getting further down onto Monacy, who ends up falling to the HE.
Yeah, tagged up initially and just sat back in that sandbags position. Didn't do much about it. Now a dead man. Jax is at least trying to make plays and creep around towards spawn to flank in against NiP. Hunter will try and join Alexi and see if they can hold the A-site execution, which is about to come in.
They need a play. They need someone to step up. Another HE spam coming through. Jax is giving the indication there's nothing over here at B.
Oh, but he's leaning in towards the B stairs. Angle though, it's going to be a bit of time stored against his name. Plopsky spotted. Burst fire from Hunter. Gets away with a kill. Drops the bomb in the open. And that should call in all the info they need. But still, Jax is rotating via the B site and back in from the standard backline positions of the CT side. Hunter gets a secondary kill though. Tag has dropped. And Fuzi will sneak in the bomb plant.
Alexi expecting a wraparound play. Hunter trying to work on the edge of this smoke. More damage coming through and actually dealing with the AWP.
He's hunting them all down. Triple to his name, looking for the quadra, and he gets it as well. Oh, and the ace and everything. 1 rifle's all they need for G2. It's 7-1.
Mate, what a sequence coming out from Hunter. We've seen the multi-frags in the few previous rounds of just his capabilities, but that one there, that is a beauty of a sight. The way that he's able to bring those advantages back, defending up on A, and to finish the round on an ace, he made that look easy.
Well, it seems like the casual approach has certainly worked out better for him. First ace of the series, it's come in so early. And again, off the back of 2 rifles, the info play from Jackson, the dominant play from Hunter, that's one to add to the highlight reel.
Yeah, of course it is. And it's another one of those rounds where G2 are fighting back from a 3v5. NiP will be devastated knowing they had so many advantages with that ramp control with 2 players up. They weren't able to get more out of it.
Beautiful shooting onto that last player in particular. A tight headshot angle to hit over towards ramp. And it puts G2 right back in with the buy here. 2 AK saved. AWP out for m0NESY, who's going to lean in with NiKo once again out towards ramp, flashed in, or just jump face dry. Not seeing anyone, I don't think.
Yeah, they're trying to get that play that Hampus made in the last round up to the top, sort of slow walk aggression onto NiKo.
Molotov goes down to his position, sees Rez, but Rez credited with the opening kill. Galil in hand starts things off at NiP.
Yeah, slightly more pace in this round for NiP, gaining that ramp control, putting the incendiary down towards that sandbags position, forcing the fight and out into the open. m0NESY expecting Hampus just to swing and get a jiggle to bring it back into a 4v4.
Back out of dodge here. The AWP are going to try to find the elevated angle against Hampus, which might prove to his success. Careful, though. Hampus not quite going for the full-on commitment. Just the jiggle peeks back and forth in between the ramp and the tops. m0NESY can extend as Hampus falls away. Now to re-aggress from the sandbags. Again, could lead to his demise. 40 seconds. He's pulling off a fake, though. His teammates rotating back towards the B site as Hampus will find m0NESY a 5 versus 3. And now the rotation's going to have to get called.
I just don't know what's going on. Jax with the sole defensive here over towards a B site, needs to try and find some impact. It just doesn't happen at all. You've got lurks up on A. How has Hampus been able to get into this position undetected so far?
The ultimate lurk play, it feels like. G2 have left the A site entirely, knowing that B was the play, and unfortunately couldn't hold down the defensive. This should be a second round for NiP. Hampus just looking for exit frags. It's a case of when he hunts onto Alexi B at what timing, or if he can wrap in against Hunter. I think he might have just been spotted, though. The AWP is watching the alley entrance. And yeah, he will deal with him. So that lurk won't quite find a second kill, but it will certainly be part of a round for NiP.
And you get into some very awkward territory again, where money in the reserve is just not quite here. So you need absolutely everything forward of maintaining these 2 last weapons.
That AWP can get away with something more here. Of course, Plopsky is aggressing. Alexi trying to hide. I think he's going to get away with it. Seems so. Yeah, 2 guns saved in for G2. A second round for NiP. And once again, they've broken the economy state of the G2 side. A tactical pause will be called in for the first time for that team.
You might have to force buy here. m0NESY's on double eco status. You're on single round loss bonus. You've got an AWP and an AK to work with. So sort of back yourself with the confidence to get the force up, to not put yourself in shaky economical turmoil and just have all the weapons to work with going into the next. Overall there, when you look at how that round panned out, the timing for Hampus, it felt as if m0NESY wanted to start retaking some of that ramp control back. And while he's clearing out a lot of those common positions, he doesn't have all the info, so he gets caught off and there's just players everywhere. All over the map, over at B, over at ramp. The read's just not quite there. And here it is with a force buy. G2 buying down.
Deagle and SMG being the weaker elements of this buyback, though. And you can expect it. They had double eco status, so they were going to force the issue here. NiP, all sorts of weapons. Still rocking that Galil for Rez. It worked in the previous, so why not? AWP in for m0NESY has been saved, though, so he's going to be the big damage dealer. Lean forward towards ramp. Suppressed by smokes. NiP will not be as aggressive with the ramp take this round.
And when we think about the responses, and especially the trades towards ramp for G2, it's mainly been the riflers finding the impact. So in a round like this, where you don't actually have the best weaponry to work with, you look at m0NESY of creating opportunities.
Hampus boosted up again to try and make a B play. There's only 1 player on the site itself, though. Max here and the util being thrown down. The nades, Hampus pixels away from spotting that man. The Molotov's back at quad and his attention's going in the direction. Will spot out Jack trying to take the spray down. NiKo there with a quick tap to respond. The 4 versus 4. And now backup has arrived, but the commitment's yet to come through. It could still come back out towards the A side. Tag does get NiKo, though. That might change the plans.
Very clever here for NiP. They're putting pace down over towards B. They're drawing as much of that util as possible, and they're sensing misdirection for the European squad to start pulling them around on the map. At least Modessy's hearing the footsteps.
Aggress to try and challenge onto the wall. Raiders drop that bomb. Give him a second shot against Plopsky and drop him to the man advantage, making it triple and all. Doesn't need the quadra. Alexi B gets the final, and G2 will hold the 8th.
Oh, that's electric coming through from Monacy. He's really the only player to defend up there from A. He starts hearing those footsteps in ramp. He can comment over. Rotations are still underway to get Alexi over, and that Jax is playing over towards B, but it comes down to the orb, finding that impact. Great shot coming through, and he has to keep fighting, Jay, because he just knows he doesn't have the support on the bomb side to help out the trades. He needs to keep fighting, and Alexi finishes up the last player with the AK.
And that's the level we talked about Monacy being able to hit in the pre-game here. What a player, what a find he's been, and another one to add to the tally. Hampus removed from playing ramp. And already the peak's in a little bit late on the smokes, means that NiP just can't seem to find a trade. They're forced to fall back again and try and play from a different angle, but Jax has the angle at B covered off. Fuzi and Etatag now dead.
What an insane round. You can start to feel the confidence blooming for the AWP to find that success out to ramp with an opening pick. But the off angle from Jax, 2 kills up on the B anchor, finally being dealt with, but the advantage still here for G2.
Plopsky's hoping that Hunter gives up the ghost above the smoke. He won't opt to do so as Reyes tries the rotation. Alexi's also aggressing in from mid. Able to get down ladder room and try find another counter flank for the G2 side here. Press them, bracket them into the B site, which is the right call for this AK. The flash is going over from Hunter. Will try and stall as now it's his turn to solo hold a site, but not completely alone. Alexi B closes in the pincer to the backstab, deals with Reyes, drops that bomb, leave Plopsky alone to clutch it. 45 seconds to try and do so. Leaning in against Hunter, reveals his position. Plopsky on top, trying to man in the open, trying to force out a decent kill, will be able to do so. But now got to focus on a backstab where both CTs are coming in from now. The bomb's dropped on the lower floor, I think, as well. Doesn't stop the spray. Plopsky unawares of where Monacy's at. And patience is a virtue for this young man as he secures another round for G2.
G2 adding another one to the tally with very limited players surviving. Money state's still not fantastic on the buyback. For NiP's sake, though, no bomb plant. You can't really get yourself in a position where you're buying down the rifles. The best that they can hope for is a hero rifle. And when we think about the previous one that was brought out, it still maintained a lot of damage.
Once again, NiP have been put back into this reset position where they can force up to some decent half-pipe pistols. Not quite full investment as of yet. Bomb plant bonus is also to consider for the NiP camp. And again, that reset potential which they've been buying for basically this entire matchup has come in a couple of times, but not to fully follow suit and follow up here for NiP. Flashing their way up and over towards the B stairs. Alexi B, the incendiaries go down. The SMG tries to peek out against the stairs players and does do a little bit of damage. Take a lot more back in return. Jax has got to try bail him out and get his kill. Look for a double up, not quite a triple. The Fuzi and Etatag are at least breaking open the site, but Hunter has other plans. Finally deals with the majority of the forces, and once again it's Plops in the clutch.
1v3 looking for damage at this point. Even Hunter aggressing through that smoke to allow that crossfire to come through. Him and Nico playing on other sides of the Jenny, making sure that if one of them goes down, the other one's going to be there for the trade. 10 and 2. It feels as if freedom is finally being applied here. The lack of pressure being applied, knowing that, oh, in that last game against Entropic, it's the first one back with our in-game leader of Alexi, and it's a game that we absolutely need to win. Now that that's settled and they're going up against a top team in the group, they're playing so much more confidently.
I think you really hit the nail on the head there. They're a G2 side that are playing without pressure, and they're playing to their ultimate confident form, as you can see with Monacy and Jax combining out of the B site. 3 kills, no trades, damage done, sure, but it doesn't feel like Plopsy is going to get the trade back on Monacy. The angle held of the AWP, further incendiaries to stop him from getting to the bomb. There's no way in now.
We're really starting to see what Monacy can bring forward now. The first 8-9 rounds of the map, we saw some consistency, but we didn't see the big moments, and now we're just getting them on a frequent playing field. Over there at the B stairs, bringing the AWP further down with Jax, further HE. Plopsky just can't do anything.
Smokes to suppress any backup rotations. Molotov to drive him forward or back, do some damage most certainly. Hampus walking outside alley, dealt with by Nico, and yeah, this round going about as well as rounds from G2 should go here. 11-2 now up to the board, and this is a stunning start from this CT side. Jax with the latest, the final kill of the round. NiP's pick has been a shambolic play so far.
Yeah, you could just see the way that G2 are almost changing up their setups on the City side to make them the unreadable position. We were giving so much credit and praise to NiP with the way that they were moving around a lot on the T side, allowing those lurks to come through. Think about the creativity in this sort of play. Run boosting Monacy into a flying B stairs take to get that opening man advantage and then to continue fighting.
That was a beautiful kill. And again, just emphasizing the teamwork that we've seen from G2 thus far. It's a shame we didn't see more of this kind of confident play throughout the course of the week. Obviously, again, mitigating circumstances. NiP taking their third tactical timeout just prior to round 14. They need to find something soon. If they can make it 11-4, it's workable, but it's still such a one-sided half already for G2.
Well, when you think about when they played Fnatic, they got 9 rounds on their T side. When they played Mouse, they got 8 rounds on their T side. They're looking at 4 at max here on Vertigo.
A lot of counterplay work to be done by these guys. Looking forward for NiKo, the AK watching the incendiaries go down for electric cover of the ramp entrance itself. AK v AK duel 1 and 2 brought down by NiP. Doesn't quite work out for either side as of yet. The nade damage will start to chip away at Plopsky here.
Yeah, starting to bring a lot of players over towards the A site, and NiKo wants to try and face it head on, get that smoke down, work around it, AK on the other side.
Nades on to Rez. Suppressed by smokes. NiKo's hearing those footsteps just against that man player at the end of the smoke. Great kill in. Flash support from Hunter. Deals with Plopsky. Both AKs dropped 5v3.
Oh, even re-smoke up towards the B stairs. As soon as they see the ramp is open, they relay that information over, and Jax is just time stalling now.
And they've rehearsed this clearly. NiP trying now to break into the B site, trying their hand at recovering some sort of bomb plant at the very least, to at least hold the economy state in a decent stead for the final round of the half. They do get away with one good pick, but Hunter, again, double up of his own accord. Hampus, a decent deagle shot, but Hunter makes it a triple. And it will be 12-2 for G2. This is a monstrous game for them.
And the setup there, you think back to how NiKo made that play possible. The HE came forward, that forced Rez ever so slightly off that scaffolding position. Sound cue. Gets that first fight, and the flash is almost instant. As soon as he deals with Rez, to then transfer forward back into the ramp sandbags to make it a 5-on-3, relay that information over to Jax, who can re-smoke up towards the top of the B stairs, and from that point onwards, they're playing 3 at B for G2.
One last round in the half, NiP now looking for a maximum of 3. 13-2 might be a little bit too unrecoverable for me. I don't know about you, Dwayne, but it feels like this map at least might already be a bit too far gone for them.
Yeah, it definitely has that feeling behind them. G2 all over them in this standpoint. Honestly, from the sandbags, has got some further support with the util.
Smokes and Molotovs or incendiaries combining. Flash forward for NiKo again to try and go for the peaks and picks. This worked out well in the previous round. He's going to regress very far forward. Monacy does bait in the shot from Fuzi. Sacrifice his life for it. It does allow NiKo to sneak forward, though.
First time an opening man advantage has been gained by the Swedes in quite a while, but NiKo is still so aggressive. Needs a couple of kills here.
Gets away with hand push, can't transfer fully over towards Rez. So 4-on-3 in NiP's exchange. Hunter now with the AWP picked up and set in. Ready to receive more. Flashbang turned away from, leans up. Good shot towards Plopsky. Evens up the standings once again.
Oh, double AWPs to try and defend up against the A site. Hunter turning away from the flash and finding the instant connection. And now for NiP, they're running into A. They've got to deal with both of these AWPs.
Molotovs ringing out to the sandbags. No smokes to try and cover it off, and Lexi falls away from position. Nade could have come in close towards both him and Esatag. Actually might land on all 3 players. Esatag just sponges it, and his teammates maintain their lives for the most part. Leg shot on Fuzi though, 12 points of HP. Alexi continuing to do damage through the smoke. Shots continue to ring out. That bomb is going to try and go down in the last few seconds, but the smokes are going to clear. The Deagle can strike, get away with 1. Stand his way on through, switch to the AK and everything. Look for Esatag, the AWPer, waiting for his chance to strike. The bomb's got to go down right now, and Lexi going in for the knives. A play to close out the half. A confident half from G2. It's 13-2.
Oh my goodness, what a performance coming through from G2. And just think about the second half, Jay. We might not even get any. 13-2. My goodness, come back after this.
I think one thing that was missing to win the title was maybe experience together on the stage and lack of practice as well. I mean, I don't want to use things as an excuse because they were also having a stand-in. They were also lacking of practice and team play. It wasn't pretty CS that was being played in the final. Like I think both teams were doing mistakes. Both teams didn't play their best CS, but maybe they had more experience on their side. Maybe not. I'm not even sure, but. Yeah, from just our perspective, I felt like we needed more practice. We could have been more versatile, I would say, and I think we were just being too one-dimensional in some situations, and they just kept countering us, and we didn't find a way how to adapt. And yeah, I think we just need more practice, and we will be much better than what we have shown in the grand final.
When we think about the last 3 months, he's the second worst rated player on Vertigo for G2. He put up, what, 23 frags and 5 deaths in the first half? How does that happen?
It's not a bad question, honestly. Like, he definitely has posted up the performance that we wanted to see from him. I mean, we were looking towards NiKo and m0NESY as being the main star players, and they've had their impact as well. But man alive, Hunter has been on the hunt, to lack a better term. His prey has been the ninjas in pajamas. A lot of work to be done now going into the second half. You mentioned how many rounds NiP have secured on their T side. Nowhere close to those kind of numbers in this particular map up. So now on the defensive is where they're going to have to pick up the pace.
And if we look at potentially the first 8, 9, 10 sort of rounds, I would look at it and say, scoreline's a bit misleading because NiP have been able to put a lot of damage forward and they're so close to an economy reset. Think about the last few rounds of that half, how dominant they were, how one-sided it was, how the lack of bomb plans just weren't even there for NiP.
Yeah, a lot of things to clean up. 11 rounds to bring back. On the CT side, as we get to the pistol, G2 making their fast moves up towards side alley already. Hampus with his USP will body block the smoke, at least try and suppress them a little bit more. It's Rez with the dualies, picking up the opener against m0NESY, wrapping the corner against NiKo, who does get traded by S-Tag at least for a 2-for-1. That bomb being spotted, and Plopsky also chimes in. Now left to 2 players on the G2 side, and finally it looks like NiP are going to catch a break.
Yeah, what a body block that was in the smoke, because it just siphoned off that crunch to come through from the top of ramp and that side alley yellow position, and almost fought the defenses to give the advantage, to slow that round down, that the players entering forward of m0NESY, Hunter, and Alexi aren't even able to find an entry at all. And for Jax and NiKo, they're trying to force a mistake. They're trying to get an aggro duel for NiP, anything at this point.
NiKo only a few pixels away from being spotted out by Hampus. S-Tag hiding behind the orange boxes, getting Jax instead. Now all up to NiKo to ace clutch in this round with 28 points of HP. Already a player down for his own part. With a trade out for the weapons now will reveal his position. The P250 is at least picked up, but can't land a shot onto Hampus, and rotations will be called in by the opposition here. You've got Fuzi on the backstab down the stairs. And again, NiP, an all-important pistol to save a lifeline, catch a small break now in this map up. It's one step and a very long road back, though.
Very clever here for NiP, peeking together, not really giving up any individual jewels. Fuzi coming through, out for those ramp players. All in all, you've got the backstab in from the bottom of that forklift position, and it's a start for NiP. Although, we have to entertain the conclusion of what do we see against LFO and against Mousesports. The last two best of threes in the Pro League group that NiP have played, they've lost their map pick, Jay. And while they've got a pistol start, they're still down 3-13.
It's 10 rounds to the difference. Way back in with the guns being brought out. G2 not investing at all into round 17. Of course, no bomb plant bonus. 1 P250 and 1 Deagle will come in for them the same. They'll try and lean in towards ramp. It's Nico's Deagle in particular looking for the long-range duels, those single headshots. Rez has found him, though, and is going to goosh him.
Yeah, probably try and get the hands of a Deagle into somebody else. Higher HP when it's possible. They're just trying to see if they can force Fuzi and Rez to continue fighting up from the sandbags. But NiP know better than this. They're playing it cautiously at ramp.
Should begin their moves now. No flashes or smokes to support those kind of moves. A counter smoke instead from the CT side. Rez will take a bit of damage for it. Get away with a decent kill alongside Fuzi. And yeah, they'll lock out against the G2 side. Again, no Kevlar, full eco. Easy pickings.
That's exactly what you want out of that one, not to lose too much against the upgraded pistols, because now the rifles are going to be coming through, and you would have to think in the back of your mind, Jay, this is where G2 carry on where they left off. They had such a dominant first half. Yeah, they haven't managed the pistol, and it was just an anti-eco Glock round with an upgraded Deagle into the last. This is where pressure gets right back on, and this is clinical for NiP to continue this streak forward.
Bonus weapons out for them for now. Similar strategy to what G2 had on their CT start. Just a slow from G2 in this follow-up default. A bit more aggression from Nico and Alexi, though. Starting to press in with no counter smokes back for NiP. More deeper onto the ramp position for the T side as they'll lean forward and not take contact.
The respect that NiP are giving over here at RAP. They're not even fighting for it. They're allowing room for Jax to work with to put that smoke down towards CT spawn. G2 can just set themselves up to go for an AP.
Perfect spray in for Alexi, catching Fuzi, and G2 will gain site access. This might already be a safe call for NiP, although they've got to consider going for the retake, considering the severe deficit they've got to try and bring back from here. Damage being done to Hunter, at least to 26 points of HP. Weaker weapons on the retake. They've lost an M4. The mask getting reloaded. Rez taking some damage as well, so it continues to get worse and worse for the NiP retake as Rez will fall through the wall bang to Hunter. Another kill to add to his tally. 24 deep in this matchup. Smoke's going down. They'll try get to the site, try hold on to the defuse. It's Jax watching for the flank just in case, but no, they're all committing. Etta tag, next to drop. Plopsky and Hampers can combine, get away with a couple of decent kills, but not enough to hold off the T side line. 14-4 now.
And just compare the playstyles. For G2, when they're on the city side, they kept bringing Monacy forward with the AWP, contesting ramp control. Nico too, Hunter supporting with some of that utility. That round's right there. Full respect given up to G2. No one fighting ramp, no one even really fighting on the A site. You've got one single individual behind default that gets caught sleeping, caught off guard, and as soon as Alexi gets that pick, that's the round's pretty much over and done with from that point onwards.
NiP losing an all-important one can at least buy back the weapons thanks to the saved money. But only a couple of M4s coming out forward and wrap the corner already for Alexi B. Going to press the issue and catch off Plopsky. Kick things off on the right foot. Molotov's going down. That's a tag with the Deagle. Going to hold off against them all. Molotov's away even. He's on low HP. Hampus now dead. Does give an M4 back to his teammate, but definitely would have been a better player here. Gone such little HP. Again, he's going to go falling so effectively. 5 versus 2. G2 in full control. Fuzi getting Jax at least. But this will not be a retake, especially with Rez now falling.
No, not at all. And just look at the precision with that util usage. The flashes coming up over high, the mollies down into the bomb site, the easy path for the entries, and then to put pressure on this last player, to have that lurk coming through from Nico, who's slowly making his way up towards the top of the ramp. They realize the importance of taking this M4 out of play, because this is going to be G2 on map point.
And a decimating map point at that. 11 for NiP to make up once again. This time to get to OT to try and hold on to survival in this matchup, let alone take it away from G2. That's a whole other story in of its own right. What a matchup this has been right now for the international squad. And again, coming into this, all signs pointed to NiP's favor. To see something as one-sided as this, it really is a shock to the system.
It is. Is it a shock to the concurrent match days, though? That's what we have to consider. The fact that the pressure's off, that G2 aren't going to be able to put themselves in a top 3 position. They could play with freedom, take it a little bit more relaxed. And the way that they're playing on the server, I wish they'd play like this all the time.
Definitely wish they played like that during this week, certainly. They were alongside NiP as being the 2 top teams you would have expected to go ham in this group, the 2 top teams you would have expected to dominate that first place position. It's Fuzi getting at least one good pick back for the NiP side, but the trades from Nico and Alexi still hold on to the man advantage for G2. Nades onto his position as well towards Sandbags. Okay, so storming that A site from here.
And for NiP, the options, gamble stack, make an info play, Fuzi thinking about relocating, trying to get deeper into the bomb site with Plopsky, and they're actually moving away from A.
Incendiary is going down. We'll start to clear up with the smokes up from the T side line. Pressing one entryway to the site. NiP will have to focus wholeheartedly on the retake. No choice but to commit towards it here. G2 getting that bomb up here from Undersea. Nades up, Fuzi's dead. Bomb plant will go down. 40 seconds now for G2 to take the first map away. NiP's own map pick. Smoke's going down to pressing another CT player. He's the player with the pistol, Plopsky with the rifle. The FAMAS versus them all. Does get Undersea at least. There's so much more to find as he wraps in. S-Tag will fall, and Jax will close it out with a triple and a 16-4 map win. A quick map win for G2.
Shell-shocked, really. When we think about the losses that NiP have taken, 2 maps they have dropped this entire event coming into the best of 3, and it was a 16-14 and an overtime. What has happened now?
It's a very good question. An absolutely brilliant showing from G2. I have no real words to describe how excellent that was, because it really was that excellent. We'll break it down in more detail after the break, and G2 certainly will be feeling happy about that win. But I think this might be the most one-sided loss they've taken on their map pick so far here in the Pro League, right, Dyke?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. The only losses we saw was against Mousesports on Vertigo, their map pick, 16-19, and then against LFO yesterday, 14-16 loss on Overpass, again, their map pick, but not like this. For G2's point of view, the last time we've seen a 16-4 or more one-sided performance in them on Vertigo was on the 19th of August or 2020. I mean, this is almost 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, and that's what makes it so shocking. Just not only the fact that they lost their map pick, but just in such a stunning fashion. G2 came into this match very prepared. And I think, again, you mentioned it a couple times during that map. I'll repeat it right here. The key thing is that this is a G2 that are playing without pressure, and they're playing with confidence because of it. This looks like a G2 that we hope to have seen all week. We wish we could have seen all week at this particular stage, but it's the one we're seeing right now, and it still holds positive signs for the future here. I mean, like, where do we even start talking about the mistakes? Do we want to talk about mistakes for NiP or promises for G2? Because we can really go down both angles in this map up.
And the way that I look at it is the start, at least, of what we saw on Vertigo was actually fairly decent for NiP. They got a lot of rounds that were very close. It came down to a couple of clutches in some sort of situations, but they weren't capitalizing on the rounds. But we saw, what, 2 5-on-3s within the first 8 rounds of the map that just weren't getting converted. And for NiP's standpoint, when you've got those kind of rounds in your pocket, you can't be losing them.
And G2's tenacity as well to constantly fight back, even when they're on the back foot. The number of times we saw ecos or half-buys or only a couple of rifles doing all the damage. Of course, there was that Hunter Ace round, which really was one of the highlight plays that he was able to manage. And he, in general, had an incredible performance over from the G2 side.
Yeah, he was just all over it. Whether it was multi-frags, whether it was important rounds, or just consistency. We saw even situations in which he was using util to set up Nico to fight out to that round.